Rembrandt Communications helps you boost sales, awareness, and credibility fast with a unique combination of SEO, copywriting, content marketing strategy, and public relations. Visit RembrandtWrites.com for your free initial consultation today.
Welcome back to Simplify Your Business. David Wolf, as always, joined by Melanie Rembrandt. She is the small business PR expert. Melanie, good morning.
Hi, David. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. And of course, I am with Podcast and Radio, your audio book and podcast creation, production, and distribution source. So we are, as always, moving into simplification. And we have some great tips in this session entitled Turn Strange Hours into Productive Times. So this is like if you're Igor and you're, no, I'm kidding. So
not quite.
this is great though, because, you know, there's this 24 hours in the day that, and much of it is unutilized, right, Melanie?
Right. And sometimes you don't even realize it till you take a moment to look at what you're actually doing with your time.
Right. So if you need more time to get everything done, then you're just simply not taking advantage of all the minutes and hours you have. So this is about really taking time to build that awareness and then actually put things into action. So how much time do you actually spend working each day on key activities? That's a fundamental question around this time management idea.
Right. And it only takes a few minutes. Basically, at the end of the day, think about where you spent your time all throughout the day. I mean, did you waste a lot of time paying bills, doing administrative things, following social media or something else? I mean, if you really stop and just take a look at where you spend your time each day, you might realize that, wow, I really wasted time here, or I should outsource administrative duties because I'm spending too much time on maybe entering names in a database or something like that.
Right.
So maybe if you just realize where you're spending your time, it might open your eyes to where you're wasting time.
That's right, Melanie. And it's really, I'll say it's an accountability exercise as well, because, you know, a lot of us use those administrative tasks, these routine types of things, and I'm certainly guilty of this, as avoidance behavior or as, you know, it's ask yourself, is this truly productive? Am I just staying busy, or am I doing something that I could outsource and then be more, basically add more value to my own business?
Exactly. And things are not going to change for the better unless you make a change. So,
right.
That might be a simple way to start, just to realize where you're spending your time.
Beautiful, beautiful. The next point is, here's a question. Could you work earlier or later in the course of a day?
This can make a huge difference. I mean, if you're a morning person, you might think about getting up an hour earlier, and it might sound horrible, but you do get used to it. I know I recently started getting up 2 hours earlier, and it's amazing how much work I get done in those 2 hours. Or you might think about adding time on the end of the day, maybe after the kids go to sleep and it's quiet. But just adding a little bit of extra work time on the beginning or end of your day can make a huge difference.
Well, like you, I'm a morning person, although I've never done the 2 hours, like a definitive, okay, I'm going to start doing a 2 hour block before the phone starts ringing or before the quote unquote actual business day starts. Of course, you're located on the West Coast, so it makes sense that you would get up early too, because you have clients on the East Coast that maybe, already a couple hours into the day. Is that part of what drove it for you? Just curious.
Actually, I've always been a morning person, and I do have clients all over the world, but it's just easier for me to get up early. I mean, I'm up at 4 or 5 in the morning, which is crazy to most people. And sometimes, it just takes getting up 15 minutes earlier each day until you get used to it.
Right. You have to acclimate. It's like jet lag. Yeah.
Exactly. But that's what works for me. You really have to find what works for you.
And Melanie, this third point is really fascinating. It's the question, what happens when you're stuck in traffic or in a line? So this is a conversation I like to have with my wife when we're driving, because often we're talking about traffic instead of using the time valuably. But I digress. I love this one because this is really about understanding it's a sort of a consciousness continuum. Wherever you are, you have your brain with you and you have your mental picture of what your business is and does, so you can really begin to kind of click through this and use that time that otherwise would be thought of as being wasted, right?
Exactly. And you can get into a really negative mode here. I mean, I live in LA, so there's tons of traffic. Right. And instead of sitting there worrying about the traffic, there's so many things you could do. You could listen to a positive audio tape. You could review some of your goals in your head. And the same thing, too, if you're waiting in line somewhere, pull out your little notepad and write down things you want to accomplish or positive thoughts. I mean, if you add up all those times that you're stuck in the car or stuck in line somewhere waiting, that's a lot of productivity time that you could spend with positive thoughts, listening to, audio tapes that make you feel better about your business or give you tips to move forward. So it's something to think about, because a lot of times we don't think about it. It's just, oh no, I got to wait in this line. I'm stuck in traffic. If you turn that around, it can really help your business.
Absolutely. And a related point, when I have people that I've scheduled and then they suddenly cancel, that is not a negative thing to me. It's fascinating how we're all conditioned to apologize about that, or maybe react and be, oh, they stood me up and they didn't show up, or it's a no-show. You know what? To me, it's a gift. I've got an extra hour or an extra whatever that block of time was to do something that I didn't know I'd have time to do. So I always look at those as gifts that are unexpected, as opposed to, so a lot of this is frame of mind.
Exactly. It's you don't think about it. There's all this extra time that you don't think about. So, it's turning quote unquote strange hours into productive, positive times.
Absolutely. So let's do a quick review. These are fabulous points about time management. How much time do you actually spend working each day on key activities?
Right. It's good to think about that and actually realize where you're spending your time.
Number 2, could you work earlier or later in the day?
There might be a few extra minutes early in the morning or after you eat dinner at night rather than watching television that could really help your business.
Yeah, don't go to that consumer headspace. Stay in the productivity mode, even when there's quote-unquote downtime, without burnout, of course. And number 3, finally, What happens when you're stuck in a traffic or a line? Unutilized time there, too.
Exactly. You want to think positively and use that as productively as you can, rather than being negative about it, just thinking about how much time you're wasting. Instead, turn that into a positive and productive time.
Fabulous, Melanie. As always, the small business PR expert, Melanie Rembrandt at RembrandtWrites.com. I am David Wolf at podcastandradio.com. Thanks for joining us. As always, we'll see you next time on Simplify Your Business.
Thanks, everyone. Make it a great day.
Podcast and Radio Networks produces and distributes podcasts and audiobooks for authors, speakers, entrepreneurs, and business leaders. If you're an existing podcaster, find out about our unique Grow Your Podcast distribution program to help you grow, connect, engage, and transact with your audience. Learn more at podcastandradio.com.